Fate of Vijay's Jana Nayagan still continues to hang in the balance. The court has now fixed a date, 21st of January, which means the biggest festive season in the state, Pongal season. This movie will not see its release. It coincides, ironically though, with the release of another film called Parasakti. It's a film that's titled after the DMK's founding era classic, a movie that was penned by Mr. Karunanidhi himself. It was backed by interests close to the ruling party. Parasakti now gets a free run. It gets an open field amongst all the Pongal releases. The setback for Vijay is a blessing, both for the DMK as well as for the BJP, and here's how. The stay on the film Jana Nayagan has stalled Vijay's political launchpad. He was trying to use this as a political vehicle. Jana Nayagan is being viewed as a massive campaign push for the TVK in the run-up to the elections in Tamil Nadu. The BJP, on the other hand, could view this as possibly leverage for it to try and bring Vijay to the negotiating table, as the alliance talks there might drive Vijay to the negotiating table as it gets further delayed. Furthermore, with the delay, the DMK is hoping to dampen the political momentum that Vijay has seen in the last 4 or 5 months. If this were to be a blockbuster, people were talking about records breaking, etc., then this would actually give some political wind to his sails. But that is not the case because the court has stayed the release. As for the BJP, the film reportedly deals with many topics that are anti-central government, and which is a point of friction between the TVK and the BJP. And the delay of this movie will come as good news as far as the BJP is concerned. Let's try and see if we can play some political reactions, or if there is something that our reporter there has filed in terms of context to why this is an ongoing political battle between the TMK, the BJP and the DMK on the other hand. I want to go across before we get to that to Uma Anandan. She's leader of the Tamil Nadu BJP. Felix Gerald is spokesperson of the TVK, and Mr. Pulla Rao is a political analyst. Ms. Uma Anandan, let me start with you first. TVK is alleging that all of this is being done at the behest of the BJP, the central government. Why block a film, ma'am? Why block a film?
See, first thing, understand, nobody is blocking a film. And this is not new for Mr. Vijay. He has time and again got into trouble. I would like to remind about he staying outside in Koddanad estate for one of his earlier films when Jayalalitha madam was the CM. I hope he has not forgotten that, and to tell you frankly, that particular wait outside the gates of Koddanad estate made this actor come into the political arena then. I think it's the germs of the seed was sown then. And I would like to ask, this is not new again, because in the earlier days, the DMK, when they were in power, MGR's film, Ulagam Sutrum Valiban, after censor release, the theatres were not allowed for the release because at that time they were in power. So this is always an ongoing battle, and I'd like to say there has been a justifiable question raised by the censor board. Another thing the judges have asked, how can you determine the release of or decide on the release of the film before the censor? It is like naming, asking for a birth certificate of your child before it is born. You want to name all that. Is that not a procedure? Okay. And one censor member, to err is human. Understand that. One censor board member, they have raised a question about how the defense forces have been commented upon and how they have been depicted in this film. Do we tolerate the defense forces? You can tolerate Brahmins being taunted. You can tolerate Hindu faith being questioned, being trampled upon. Repeatedly it is done in majority of the films in Tamil Nadu. Okay. At that time, nobody raises an issue on this. Now, why this raise and crew for this? And second, I would like to ask, a defense force, when they are being exhibited or shown in not to the interest of the national, when they are being insulted or shown in another way which is detrimental to the national unity, to the national pride, don't we have the right to question it? Okay. Do we tolerate and say chanta hai and go ahead?
Mr. Felix Gerald of the TVK, the division bench of the Madras High Court basically said in its order today, a false state of urgency was being created while fixing the release date. Could not the producers wait for the censor certificate before sealing the release date, which is a legitimate question to ask by the High Court?
You're asking me to comment?
Yes, Mr. Gerald, yes.
I want to have a two statement here. First of all, this matter is in the court. As an official spokesperson of TVK, I am not able to comment. Number one. Number two, you call this debate saying the topic is the impact of TVK in the political landscape of Tamil Nadu. And I don't think I can take part. I cannot talk about this movie.
Okay, you don't have to talk about the movie, but do you not have a
question about the movie?
Yeah, no. But do you not have a view on the last film, which is a declared last film of your leader, and he has said he is going to. One second, let me finish my question, please. And he has said that this is going to be his last film. He's going to retire from films. He is going to focus his entire rest of his life as a politician, as a political operative, as a people's sort of representative. And in this last one, the BJP, you are alleging, and your party is alleging, has thrown a spanner in the works. And they are saying, why are you making such a big deal? Why are you showing things in bad light? Why are you not following due process? Why do you say that this is political? Now, you can't on the one hand say they are trying to stop your leader's political rise, yet at the same time say that, oh, this is a film, we don't want to comment on a film.
Let me tell you, again, this is not ethical at all. And we believe in judiciary, and I personally believe in judiciary. You didn't call me to debate on this topic.
Okay, so tell me about the politics part, that you're free to talk about.
But you didn't tell me that, right?
No, I asked you, the second question was on politics. I didn't ask you about the film.
I told from the beginning at least more than 10 times.
I'm asking you about the politics, Mr. Gerald.
Is it ethical from your side?
No. I'm asking you about Mr. Gerald. I'm asking you about the politics. You are saying that this is to block the political rise of your leader. The BJP and the DMK are saying he's not a big leader, that they need to block his political rise.
One simple question. Is it ethical to inform your guest with misleading information and call to
No, I did not have that conversation with you, so I don't know what conversations you are privy to. No, but I do want to ask you, why do you believe that this is to block your leader's political rise?
I'm not here to talk about the movie. Okay? Today, the entire Tamil Nadu politics, the entire Tamil Nadu political ground, we are the center of gravity. So our leader is the most charismatic leader on the ground today. And he is not only a charismatic leader, he is a cultural phenomenon. Okay? People are with us, we are happy with that.
No, but how do you know any of this? Your leader has not fought an election. You have not got a single MLA. One second. There are two political parties that have ruled the state for the last 50 years. Okay. You're a political novice. And you come here sitting on national television saying you are the center of gravity.
They have got experience only for looting for the last 30 years.
One second, madam.
They have not learned anything. Okay? They have just looted the state for more than 30 years. So looting experience is not a big qualification. Okay, we are a power.
What about Vijay's looting?
Let me.
Vijay's looting of people. His salary.
Let me finish.
No, let them not take the virtuous stand.
Don't use such false information. Okay. So I am telling you, in terms of principles, in terms of ideology, in terms of people, in terms of connectivity, emotional connectivity with the people, our leader is much more superior than any of the leaders in Tamil Nadu today.
Sir, please tell me. These are airy-fairy claims you are making.
When he ran away from Karur, was he a hero?
No. So,
when he ran away from
Karur, that aside,
he disappeared.
I don't want to make this debate about Karur. No, one second. I don't want to make this debate about Karur. But one
No,
second,
what
sir,
is
sir,
it?
sir,
No,
sir,
no.
sir.
No, no,
One
he's
second,
saying
one second.
that
I want to ask you. No, I want to ask you a question. Today, sir. One second, sir. Sir, you are saying your leader is number one, your leader is this, your leader is that. Granted.
Yeah.
Why isn't a single why isn't a single political party in Tamil Nadu today not wanting to ally with your leader and with your party?
No.
If you are, as you say, the center of gravity of politics in that state.
We are not desperate for any political alliance. On our first public meeting, we announced that TVK has the potential to form the government on our own. It's our leader said. We can form the government on our own. If in case, it's very important, if in case any political party comes to us, we will share the power with governance with them.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Gerald, I've got some breaking news for you, and I want your reaction on this. So let's go to that breaking news. The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. M.K. Stalin, has come out now in support of Mr. Vijay. This is what Mr. Stalin has said, and I quote, "In the line of the CBI, ED and IT, the censor board has also now turned into a new weapon of the Union BJP government. I issue my strong condemnations for this action taken by the CBFC and the Union BJP government." Now, Mr. Gerald, please say, the man that you have been attacking, the man that your leader has been attacking, has come out in your support.
again, it is related to movies. I am not here to comment on the movie side.
No, you don't need to comment on the movie. Comment about what the
understand.
Chief Minister has
Please
said,
understand.
sir.
No, I am not here to comment.
The Chief Minister.
Again, related to this movie, sir. I have I have a liberty.
Okay.
May your
Zakka,
question also.
Zakka, can I come in now?
Okay, Uma
Can I
Anandan.
come in now?
So
Mr.
DMK
Stalin
has come out in support
See, now you're saying that
of Vijay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, very funny, very funny. The same DMK, when Mr. MGR's last film, Ulagam Sutrum Valiban, was released, after being censor certificate given, they went and indulged in Gundaism. They didn't want MGR's film to be released. And now Mr. Stalin is taking the angels thing to comment about coming in support of Mr. Vijay. After a certificate, they took to Gundaism. That Mr. MGR's film, Ulagam Sutrum Valiban, should
Okay.
not be released, should not be screened.
Pull up.
Not released. And one more thing I'd like to say. This is a remake of a Telugu film. This Jana Nayagan. They say that it is a remake. But there you don't have. In the Telugu film, Balakrishna does not take on the establishment. He does not take to sword and hitting the leaders and all that. He does not take the establishment and say he is the man who is virtuous
Okay.
and the entire system is corrupt.
No. So I
Now,
want to
Mr.
I want
Vijay,
to I
let
want to
him
come
come
no
become
I
a
want to
hero.
come to this
There.
Stalin statement because I think it's very, very enlightening, and I want Mr. Pulla Rao to respond to it. For the longest time, the BJP has been the TVK and Mr. Vijay has been saying the single biggest political adversary in the state is the DMK. The contest in 2026 is DMK versus TVK. He's been saying this on a number of occasions. Now the sitting Chief Minister comes out in support of Mr. Vijay. So what does that mean? They're A team and B team?
Absolutely. I first request Mr. Felix, you must stay on. Even if you don't want to comment, it's my request to you. Okay,
stand up
it's my
now.
request. You can just smile and stay on, please. Because Zakka is a good anchor. You can't do this.
That's fine.
You can't do this.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
You can't
know
do
him
it.
personally. He was
Okay,
from
number
South.
one. Number two, I know I appreciate Umaji's great history she gave, but history is passé. It's long ago. Let's look at the future. One of the reasons I admire Stalin, people give me various reasons. One of the reasons, he has been in politics 55 years. He went to jail during emergency. I didn't go. Sorry. I was a coward. I was afraid. He went to jail as a student. He spent time. And this statement is a wonderful statement. I wish somebody would welcome it because this is what a chief minister should do. Whether there's purpose or not, a good thing happened. He welcomed
Sir, he was not
welcomed
arrested
it.
for emergency.
No,
Please correct that
I-
statement. Correct that
No, no.
statement. He was
Let
not
us
in
go
jail
with
for
history.
a visa. He was not in jail as
I,
an emergency.
I know.
He was for some other reason.
Please, we never interrupted you. It's a nice discussion.
Know your facts
Let me just-
right.
Let
Know
me,
your facts
okay, I'll
right.
get my facts right.
Okay.
I'll leave it to Mr. Felix to correct me.
Make your point. Make your point.
But the point is, it's a very good statement. It should be welcome. A good politician, if Mr. Vijay is a good politician, if he may be a great actor, you should welcome it.
No,
You
but
should
Mr.
say,
Felix
"Well,
is not. Mr. Felix is not
but
welcoming
Felix is
it.
not.
No,
That's why I'm
see,
telling
let
him.
me-
At least.
I am here to talk about politics. Let me talk on my.
No. I'm talking.
Delhi,
You can just-
Let Mr. Rao finish. Yeah, let Mr. Rao finish.
No, 1 minute. He has said a good thing. If somebody has said a good thing, I would be happy if our respected Umaji said, we have nothing to do with the censor board, they're doing a lot of hodgepodge, and this is not correct. It is not correct. The censor board, whether somebody is guiding it or not, I am not going there, as Mr. Stalin said, but it's not correct. It's just inefficiency. They should understand the political exigencies of such films. And the films are so important in Tamil Nadu, the film board, maybe not in North India. The film board should have been a little more adroit, alert, and at least contemporary. They can't say this a film will make them go up and down. Coming back, Mr. Zakka, Stalin said a very good thing. I am not surprised because of various reasons. He was bold enough to say, and now it is up to a man who claims he's got a big heart, Mr. Felix, to reciprocate and say something.
Mr. Felix?
Yes.
Delhi does not know.
Sir,
Tamil Nadu
first,
politics at
in
all.
the business
Okay,
of,
number one. Number
in the
two,
name
you may
of
think
freedom,
that-
in the name
you may-
of freedom, leniency and
You
all,
may think that
we
we are
cannot
2
allow the
years
next
old party,
generation to go to
but
dogs.
We are actually 30-year-old movement. As a Vijay Makkaliyakam, we were in the ground, we were preparing the ground for 30 years. You don't know, you will not know that we have the contested in local body election without, with our leaders' photograph and the Makkaliyakam symbol. There are more than 100 local body members are elected. Okay? We have understood the ground, we have prepared the ground. I'm sorry, we have
What nonsense?
prepared
No,
the
let him
infrastructure
contest.
and we have
My
declared
God, no. Let him not come out with all this.
Okay.
It's a wrong information.
Yes,
it's a
Uma-
wrong information.
Yes, Uma Anandan,
They
yes.
did not
What about
contest in the
BJP?
Lok Sabha. They did not contest in the local body elections.
It's a local
they
body
did not
election,
contest.
not in-
So let
not
him
in-
not come here and they did not.
No,
Say,
it's a fact.
say.
It's a
It's
fact.
better not to
He was
contest
waiting
than
for
get a
this.
duck.
People
Better not
contested
to
in the
contest
local
and get
body
a duck
election,
also.
won more than 100 seats, 100 positions, but not in the name of TVK, but by using our leaders' Makkaliyakam name.
My God, you
With
want
his
us to believe
photos-
all this?
with his
You want
photos.
us to believe all this? You think we're all
I'm not
fools?
asking you to believe
You think
it.
we're all fools?
Okay? You will not believe the fact. You will
Then
never believe
Okay.
you
the
come
fact.
here, you come here on a national
You will
channel
not
and
believe
talk anything
science.
that you want
You will
to.
not
You know,
believe
Fed
science.
in lies here.
No,
believe
Mr.
Fed in lies
rational
here.
thoughts.
No, Mr. Felix, at the end of the day, the Election Commission has to give recognition to a political party. Your political party is new. You've not contested in any meaningful
I said
election in
not
the
as a
in
political
the
party,
in the last
but
few
as
no
a-
no
it's
in the
news
last
for
few
you.
in the last few
Zakka,
months.
Zakka,
Your
Zakka,
first
it's
test
news
is
for
going
you.
to be in April, May 2026. Whether you are the center of gravity of Tamil Nadu politics or whether you're an also ran, the people of Tamil Nadu will decide in the next 3-4 months.
Done our own,
We'll
we have
see.
done our own
We'll see.
internal survey.
I've been in this business long enough to know that internal surveys have no meaning in democracy. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Mr. Felix. And any misunderstanding, I'm sorry if there's been any misunderstanding, but Mr. Felix and Mr. Rao and Ms. Uma Anandanji, thank you very much for joining us. I want to move on to the other big story. And this, of course, is national and international implications. The gloves are now well and truly off in the ongoing trade war between America and India after both sides failed to arrive at a bilateral trade agreement so far. Now, Trump's top trade man, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, has claimed that the deal was done back in July and all it would have taken to seal the deal was a phone call from Modi to Trump. But he says that phone call never came because the Indians were uncomfortable. And therefore, other countries at that time, back in July, whether it was Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea, the European Union, all managed to get deals before the end of the reciprocal tariffs deadline, which was the 31st of July, 2025. And because India did not have this phone call between Modi and Trump, India got kicked to the back of the line. The MEA, the Ministry of External Affairs, has responded. It has said that Lutnick's comments are inaccurate. It's also said that Trump and Modi had spoken 8 times in 2025 alone. Listen in to these reactions.
Negotiate the contracts and set the whole deal up. But let's be clear, it's his deal.
Yeah.
Okay? He's the closer. He does the deal. So I said, you got to have Modi. It's all set up. You have to have Modi call the president. And they were uncomfortable doing it. So Modi didn't call.
Incidentally, Prime Minister and President Trump have also spoken on phone on 8 occasions during 2025, covering different aspects of our wide-ranging partnership.
So what exactly is Howard Lutnick trying to achieve by saying what he said? He's trying to put the blame squarely on Modi and his reluctance to call Trump as the reason for the deal not happening. But here's the interesting thing. What Lutnick is not saying, what he's not saying is that this deal is stuck now, not because of Modi, but because of Trump. India has been putting its interests first. It has not let the United States arm twist the negotiations. It is because post-July, after the reciprocal tariffs ended, the deadline ended, Trump raised unilateral and unfair 25% tariffs on Russian oil and singled out India. Now, a new bill aims to raise that from 50% to 500%, and that's a bill that Trump has greenlit. So that's why the deal is stuck. The deal is not stuck because Modi did not call Trump. The deal is stuck because Trump has now introduced a new variable into this entire equation. He's changed the goalpost and started talking about Russian oil and started penalizing India for Russian oil. That's why the deal is stuck. But either way, this whole business of there was no phone call by Modi to Trump, this claim made by Lutnick, does not stick in the first place. The MEA has said that they've spoken 8 times in 2025. In fact, they've spoken 6 times in the last 6 months. Last year, on the 17th of June, there was a 35-minute call which took place after Trump had to leave the G7 summit in Canada early. And then a couple of months later, they also greeted each other on the 17th of September when Trump dialed Modi and extended him birthday greetings. A month later in October, when Trump announced that he had arrived at the Gaza ceasefire, Trump dialed Prime Minister Modi and again extended his greetings. And then on the occasion of Diwali, which was later in October, they spoke again on the phone. And last month in December, Trump and Prime Minister Modi held a call following the US imposition of 50% tariffs on certain Indian export items. So they've spoken on a number of occasions since that July deadline, and yet the deal is stuck. So this idea that Lutnick is trying to promote that the deal could have happened or is not happening because Modi has not called Trump flies in the face of the facts on the ground, which is that Prime Minister Modi and President Trump have had multiple conversations in the last few months. Okay, so what does this mean? Howard Lutnick saying that if a call had come from Modi in the time back in July, just before the reciprocal tariffs deadline ended, then the India-US trade deal would have been a done deal, but that call never came. I want to go across to Professor Brahmachalani, strategic affairs expert. So Lutnick's made this revelation. We know that there were no calls between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump between June 17th and September 17th, and certainly not when these interim trade deal negotiations were going on. Lutnick is blaming India and squarely blaming Modi for not making that call. We're awaiting an MEA response to that. But what do you make of this? Because it seems like the Americans are being a little disingenuous. It was also the time when, no communication was happening at the highest level because of Trump's exaggerated claims of having brought about a ceasefire between India and Pakistan.
There are 2 things, Zakka. First, the US Commerce Secretary's claim can only embarrass the Indian government because it suggests that a clash of egos has held up the US-India trade deal. The second is that from the Indian side, especially from Modi's side, there hasn't been a response to all these statements by Trump, some of them completely disingenuous, some of them fictional, and yet from the Indian side, there's a reluctance to set the record straight. The question is whether there will be a clear-cut statement in response to the US Commerce Secretary's claim, because his statement is pretty damaging to the Indian government, because it suggests that had Prime Minister Modi made this phone call to President Trump, the deal would have come through. Of course, I'm sure there's more to it, and I'm sure that call from Modi alone wouldn't have been decisive. But for the US Commerce Secretary to say it in public and to cast the blame on India, particularly on Modi, demands that we put forth a clear statement.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you was, okay, so this is in reference to what happened or what did not happen back in July. After that, in August, Trump imposes not just 25% retaliatory tariffs on India, another 25% for Russian oil import. And now there's a bill in the US Congress which threatens to raise that to 500%. So what happens now? Are we going to get a deal? Are we not going to get a deal? Is India now going to be a trade outcast as far as American trade relations are concerned? At 500%, it's unviable.
Well, let's look first at the best case scenario. A bilateral trade agreement is signed. It'll be a limited trade deal, just the way the US has signed trade deals with Vietnam, with Japan, with a host of other countries. And the tariff rate is going to be still pretty high, whether we like it or not. And while in return, India will have to accept virtually zero tariffs on American goods. So it'll be a lopsided deal. And just the way the US has managed to extract major concessions from Southeast Asia and East Asian states, there will be concessions made by India. There's no doubt about that. Will that be damaging politically to the Modi government? We'll have to wait and see. But it'll be a limited trade deal. And that's the best case scenario if a deal does come through. If a deal does not come through, and we have to keep in mind that at 50% tariffs, every day means millions of dollars of additional costs for Indian exporters. So every day this limited trade deal is delayed, it costs the country quite a lot of money. So in that sense, it's important to have a trade deal, however limited it is, but it has to be more evenly balanced than what the Americans are seeking from India. But I think your larger question as to what comes now, I think there, Zakka, we have to keep in mind one very important thing, which is which is being completely obscured in the Indian debate, which is that there is now a clear shift in American policy approach toward India. Earlier approach was that the US would welcome India's rise, would even to some extent aid India's rise, but now the US is looking at India's rise as a potential challenge to American security. In other words, India needs to be contained regionally, which is why Trump is now pursuing the same Biden administration policy of propping up administrations in Dhaka and Islamabad while trying to topple the military-ruled military regime in Myanmar, despite the cross-border spillover effects for India.
All right.
So in other words, the regional dynamics in U.S. policy have changed to the detriment of India's interests, and I think those fundamentals will not alter, even if there is a trade deal between Washington and New Delhi.
All right, Professor Brahmacharani, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining us here on CNN News. The political showdown following the raids at the I-PAC offices refuses to die down a day after Mamata Banerjee literally para-dropped at the various raid locations at the residence of the chief Pratik Jain as well as at the I-PAC offices and walked away with files. Today, she along with hundreds of party workers hit the streets of Kolkata against the central agency's probe. Meanwhile, in the national capital, TMC MPs staged a protest outside Union Home Minister Amit Shah's residence. They reiterated that this entire thing was born out of political vendetta and that TMC election strategy documents were being allegedly taken away by the ED. The ED moved the High Court asking for an expedited probe, but the High Court had to adjourn the matter because of chaotic scenes inside the courtroom.
They came to steal our documents. ED, who's stealing what? Did we go to ED's house or did ED come to our house? Let them say whatever the hell. What the ED is doing is political espionage. They are a political lutera. That's what the ED is saying.
एक सीनियर पॉलिटिशियन, एक चीफ मिनिस्टर जो संविधान हाथ में रखते हुए ओथ लिया है, उनका इस तरीके से कार्रवाई, सीधा संविधान के ऊपर हमला.
There are these claims and counterclaims, and it continues. Mamata Banerjee has now filed a complaint against the probe agency. The ED has moved the High Court over the alleged obstruction of the investigation. And now we're also learning from sources that the ED is mulling moving the Supreme Court because the hearing couldn't happen today in the High Court because of chaotic scenes inside the courtroom. Mamata claims the ED action is malified and it's arbitrary, while the ED alleges that Mamata and her cops, in collusion, have committed theft of evidence. Mamata has claimed that confidential data linked to the Bengal elections, the TMC's election strategy, all of these have been seized by the ED. The central agency says Mamata and her police have tried to destroy evidence referring to the files that were taken away. Mamata Banerjee has also claimed that the ED accessed unauthorized political strategy data. The ED has called Mamata's actions a direct hit at the independent powers of the probe agency. I want to go across to TMC Member of Parliament, Mahua Moitra, who's now joining us. Why are you, ma'am, and your party objecting to the ED's investigation in this coal scam? It's almost literally like a street veto at the protests that were taken out by your chief minister. The ED has alleged in court today in its petition that Mamata Banerjee, the Bengal chief minister, is actively obstructing an ongoing investigation. How do you respond to that?
I think actually the shoe's on the other foot. Why is the ED on the eve of an election, which is a very hotly contested election, on the eve of an election in the middle of an SIR process, why is the ED in what is apparently a 6 to 7 year case where they have had 6 to 7 years to do their investigation, suddenly coming in and raiding what is very clearly the election offices of the Trinamool Congress? It is no secret when they say I-PAC is a private company. I-PAC is not a private company selling wash basins. I-PAC is a political consulting strategy firm which is hired and contractually bound to the TMC, which has got all our data, doing our election strategy, our candidate lists, our surveys, everything. We are only 1.5 months away from an election. So where does the ED come in and get all? Do you think after 6 or 7 years, assuming that it's a coal scam, after 6 or 7 years, they're going to come in and find that data inside, physically that data on the devices and the files of the I-PAC office in Calcutta, which is the Trinamool's election office?
No, but ma'am, the contention of the ED in its petition moved in the High Court today is also that the Chief Minister is not just obstructing justice, not just obstructing an ongoing probe, but by undertaking a street protest, she is trying to exert the power of the street, a street veto over the rule of law. How do you respond to that?
What is stopping them? Because if I were the ED and if everything that the ED is saying is correct, then yesterday the ED, the first thing they should have done is filed an FIR on destruction of evidence, filed an FIR on obstruction of an investigation. First thing they should have done is gone to the nearest Thana and filed an FIR against Mamata Banerjee. Why did they not do that? Why have they gone in writ jurisdiction to the Calcutta High Court asking for a CBI investigation into Mamata Banerjee's actions? Why? If they're so clear in the law and they're saying Mamata Banerjee is doing this, what has the West Bengal government done? What has the Trinamool Congress done? We have filed 3 FIRs against the ED that you have come into our territory, you have taken our proprietary information and you are going to misuse that and you are going to disseminate it. Pratik Jain's phone after 7 years is not going to have information about some coal scam he was apparently involved in. What it's got names of all our candidates, it's got names of all our surveys. I am district president. We are in touch with Pratik Jain every day, 8 times a day, sending information about our districts, about our campaign, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there, all our mathematics, all our calculations. And the ED gets used to all of that information. Who do they give it to, Zakka?
Okay. We let the courts decide the legality or otherwise of this matter. In any case, in the People's Court, it will get decided in the next month and a half, as you said. Thank you very much, Mahua Moitra, Trinamool Member of Parliament, for joining us with your thoughts and perspective on that issue. Well, massive protests have spread across major cities in Iran, at least a dozen cities, threatening to singe the long-standing regime of the Islamic Republic, the Islamic cleric Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader. These are the largest protests since the start of the new year. People are out on the streets protesting against economic mismanagement. Prices are soaring. They're being crushed under American and European sanctions. These are the biggest protests seen in Iran since 2022, when the anti-hijab protests burnt Iran after the death of 22-year-old Masha Amini. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader, today addressed the nation, and he trained his guns outwards, warning outsiders, i.e. America, to stay out of Iran and stop meddling in Iran's affairs. Iran was plunged into an internet blackout on Thursday as nationwide protests demanding the ouster of the Islamic government spread to multiple cities. It's grown in size in the last few days. These are the biggest single day of protests and violence that have been seen in Iran since the start of the new year. The internet shutdown across the country came a day after the heads of Iran's judiciary and its security services said that they would be taking tough measures against anyone who's protesting. But the threats did not deter the demonstrators, tens of thousands of whom took to the streets in dozens of cities across the country. Large crowds were seen forming Thursday night in neighborhoods across Tehran, the capital, as well as other cities around the country, including Mashhad, Bushehr, Shiraz, and Isfahan. The crowds were diverse. It had both men and women, young and old. They were seen and heard chanting, "Death to Khamenei," referring to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. There were also slogans of freedom, freedom. Videos that were filmed Thursday night showed government buildings on fire across the country, even as the protests grew in size and scale. While the protests were mostly peaceful early in the evening, by nighttime, violence broke out across Tehran. Demonstrators were seen setting fire to cars, buildings, and public utilities out in the street. The protest did not go unnoticed even in Washington.
We certainly stand by anybody who's engaged in peaceful protest, anybody who's trying to exert their rights for free association and to have their voices heard. Obviously, the Iranian regime has a lot of problems, and as the President of the United States has said, the smartest thing for them to have done, it was true 2 months ago, it's true today, is for them to actually have a real negotiation with the United States about what we need to see when it comes to their nuclear program. I'll let the President speak to what we're going to do in the future, but we certainly stand with anybody across the world, including the Iranian people who are advocating for their rights.
As the protests grew, internet connectivity showed an abrupt and near-total drop across the country. This, in fact, has been confirmed by NetBlocks, which is an internet monitoring group, which has said that the Islamic Republic has gone on a complete internet shutdown to try and stop any flow of information from Iran to the rest of the world. The data out of Iran indicates that the country is almost completely offline. Iranian officials did not immediately respond to questions about the cause of the internet shutdown, but the government has previously enforced internet blackouts during moments of crisis. Just recently, about 6 months ago, during the country's 12-day war with Israel back in June, Iran had blocked access to the internet, saying that it was a necessary security measure. That measure also cut off the flow of information from Iran to the rest of the world. Iranians have been protesting against the authoritarian rule of Islamic cleric Ayatollah Ali Khamenei for decades now. But wave after wave of protests have been repeatedly crushed by the iron fist of the Ayatollah regime. The latest round of protests began about a week ago. Multiple opposition groups, including Kurdish political groups, Azerbaijani parties, and most importantly, Reza Pahlavi, who is the son of the deposed Shah of Iran, they called for people inside Iran to take to the streets. Mr. Pahlavi had said in a video message from America that people who are opposed to the government of the Ayatollahs should come out to the streets at 8 p.m. Thursday. A large number of people were responding to his call. In fact, Mr. Pahlavi is scheduled to meet with US President Donald Trump next week. The Shah's family has been living in exile in America since the Islamic Revolution in 1979.
قطعاً توجه کردید که ازدحام جمعیت باعث میشه که نیروها پس بروند و امکان ریزش رو به سمت شما بیشتر میکنه. بنابراین مهم استش که این انضباط و گستردگی رو حفظ بکنید. من اولین فراخوان خود را امروز با شما در میان میگذارم و از شما دعوت میکنم که این جمعه و پنجشنبه 18 و 19 دی ماه را سر ساعت 8 شب همگی چه در خیابان‌ها یا حتی از منازل خودتون شروع به شعار سر دادن بکنید. در نتیجه بازخورد این حرکت‌ها من فراخوان‌های بعدی رو به شما اعلام خواهم کرد.
These demonstrations are the biggest in Iran since 2022, when the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini set off fierce anti-government protests. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei called the protesters' grievances valid, but he accused external forces, namely Israel, of trying to exploit the protesters and destabilize the country. Iran's economy has been under sustained pressure for years now, largely as a result of American and European sanctions because of Iran's secret nuclear weapons program. That strain has now been compounded by regional tensions, including the 12-day war with Israel last June, in which 3 of Iran's biggest nuclear sites were bombed beyond recognition. A steep decline in Iran's currency has also battered import businesses, angering shopkeepers and straining household budgets. Iran's currency has lost roughly half its value against the US dollar in 2025. Official figures also show inflation exceeding 42% in December alone. In response, shopkeepers, merchants, traders, and university students have all been staging days of protests. It has shut major marketplaces, and they've been holding demonstrations across college campuses. Demonstrations have spread to more than 100 locations in 20 out of 30 provinces in Iran. This is according to data from human rights activist news agency, which is an Iranian non-profit. But this is not the only protest that Iran is seeing. Iran's government is dealing with multiple crises, including water shortages, growing air pollution, and the gnawing fear among many Iranians that there will be another round of American or Israeli military strikes. The June strikes were a debilitating blow to Iran's nuclear program. But every round of protest has been met with an even bigger round of repression. But will this time be any different for the Iranian people? The Ayatollah regime has been put on notice. Well, massive protests have spread across major cities in Iran, at least a dozen cities, threatening to singe the long-standing regime of the Islamic Republic, the Islamic cleric Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader. These are the largest protests since the start of the new year. People are out on the... Well, massive protests have spread across major cities in Iran, at least a dozen cities, threatening to singe the long-standing regime of the Islamic Republic, the... US President Donald Trump has a secret military plan to take over the Arctic island chain of Greenland. He's used all kinds of excuses in the last few days, from natural resources like rare earths to the national security of America. He's even cited mysterious Chinese and Russian ships prowling off the coast of Greenland. Trump seems increasingly fixated on the idea that the United States should take over Greenland. Earlier this week, Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, told senators that the president wants to buy Greenland. Some have even suggested a military takeover of Greenland. Just a few days ago, President Trump said that America needs Greenland from the standpoint of national security. But the question is, can the United States legally just take over Greenland? Under a little-known Cold War agreement, the United States already enjoys sweeping military access in Greenland. Right now, the United States has one military base in a very remote corner of the island, but this military agreement allows America to construct, install, maintain, and operate military bases across Greenland. America can also station its own troops and control the landings and takeoffs of aircraft and the anchoring of ships.
I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
This military agreement was signed in 1951 by the United States and Denmark, which had colonized Greenland more than 300 years ago. Denmark still controls most of the island. The United States has such a free hand in Greenland that it can pretty much do what it pleases. But buying Greenland, something that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, told lawmakers earlier this week, which was Trump's latest plan, now that is a wholly different question. Greenland does not want to be bought by anyone, especially the United States. And Denmark, which controls most of Greenland's affairs, does not have the authority to sell Greenland. In the past, Denmark would have been the deciding factor. In 1946, Denmark refused an offer by the then American President Harry S. Truman, who had at that time offered $100 million in gold to acquire Greenland. Today, though, things are different. People in Greenland have a right to hold a referendum on independence. Danish officials have said it is going to be up to the island's 50,000 people to decide their future. An island-wide poll last year found that 85% of Greenland's residents opposed the idea of an American takeover. Tensions between Trump and Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen have been steadily rising as Trump pushes to get Greenland. But the Danish Prime Minister refuses to kowtow to Trump. Just a few days ago, Frederiksen had cited the 1951 agreement, saying that it already gives America much wider military access to Greenland. She urged America to stop with the threats and said that an American attack on Greenland would mean the end of the international world order. An attack on Greenland would be considered as a violation of Article 5 of NATO, which means an attack on one is an attack on all.
I think we have been very clear from the Kingdom of Denmark, with great support from the European partners and the European Union, that everybody has to respect the sovereignty of all national states in the world, and that Greenland is today a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. It's a part of our territory, and it's not for sale. The chairman, the leader of Greenland, has been very clear that they are not for sale.
The relatively straightforward defense agreement between America and Denmark was updated in 2004, and that would include Greenland's semi-autonomous government, giving that government a say in how American military operations might affect the local population. The roots of this agreement, first signed in 1951 and then re-signed again in 2004, it goes back to a partnership that was forged during World War II. At that time, Denmark was occupied by the Nazis. Denmark's ambassador in Washington, cut off from Copenhagen, took it upon himself to strike an agreement for Greenland with the United States. The island is part of North America along the Arctic Ocean. It's very close to the coast of Canada, but it is controlled by Denmark. After World War II, the United States continued to run some military bases and a bunch of early warning sites. As the Cold War wound down, the United States closed down all of its military bases except one. That last remaining military base is called the Pituffik Space Base. It basically helps track missiles which cross the North Pole. The Danes also have a light military presence. They've got a few hundred troops, special forces, which includes dog sleds that are used to conduct long-range patrols. But in recent months, the Danish government has vowed to upgrade its military presence and surveillance in Greenland. After American forces captured Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, Trump suddenly now seems emboldened. Stephen Miller, the deputy White House chief of staff, claimed that Greenland should belong to America and that nobody is going to fight the United States over Greenland.
You say that military action against Greenland is off the table.
It wouldn't be military action against Greenland. The Greenland has a population of 30,000 people, Jake. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? What is their basis of having Greenland as a colony of Denmark? The United States is the power of NATO. For the United States to secure the Arctic region, to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States. And so that's a conversation that we're going to have as a country. That's a process we're going to have as a community of nations.
So you can't take it off the table that the U.S. would use military force to seize Greenland. You can't take it off the table.
Jake, I understand you're trying very hard to, which again is your job. I respect it. It's great to get exactly the headline, right? That catchy headline.
I'm trying to get an answer to the question.
That says Miller refuses to rule out the United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland.
But Greenland's strategic location is not the only thing that has attracted Trump's inner circle. In fact, Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., had visited Greenland amidst much fanfare just back in February, right after his father took office. The enormous island that is Greenland has got another draw: critical minerals, loads of rare earth minerals that are buried deep under the ice. In the case of Venezuela, it was blatantly about oil. In the case of Greenland, it could be another critical resource: rare earth minerals. All in all, Trump has said that this is his world. It is Trump's world, and he decides the rules.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The Madras High Court has temporarily stayed the single judge's order directing the CBFC to grant the certificate to the movie Jana Nayagan. Movie won't release during Pongal holidays, biggest festival in Tamil Nadu. So that is a setback for actor Vijay. And this is in the Jana Nayagan controversy that we've been tracking for you. For more on this, we have Purnima Murli live with us, we have Ananya Bhatnagar, and we have Vivek Naran. Thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. Vivek, let me just come to you first. How do you see this entire battle that we're seeing?
Major roller coaster ride there for actor turned politician Vijay. The orders passed by the single judge has been quashed by the Chief Justice of the Madras High Court. Earlier in the day, we saw high drama when Justice P.T. Asha had ordered the Central Board of Film Certification to release the movie as early as possible and ensure that the release happens as per the actor's wishes. And as per the judge, the courts cannot sit on it, and they can't be judicial up and down over a cinema for this long, because lots depend on a movie. It was to be released today. There were already tickets which were sold. There was a state of flux among Vijay's producers. They were panicking, which the judge at that point, Justice P.T. Asha, said the movie needs to be released as a UA movie as it was earlier decided. But the CBFC court lawyers had appealed to the High Court Chief Justice. The case was heard a little while back and the orders passed. The single judge has quashed the orders of the earlier court, saying that the release will not be happening and the case has been postponed to 21st. So, as you rightly said, no Vijay movie on the 21st on Pongal, which is a big event in Tamil Nadu. Pongal release is like the prime for any actor down south, and if the Pongal release does well, and remember, this was to be Vijay's swan song, his last movie as an actor as he moves on and transitions into a politician's role. This was supposed to kind of propel him.
And so, Mr. Felix Gerald of the TVK, the division bench of the Madras High Court basically said in its order today, a false state of urgency was being created while fixing the release date. Could not the producers wait for the censor certificate before sealing the release date, which is a legitimate question to ask by the High Court?
You're asking me to comment?
Yes, Mr. Gerald, yes.
I want to have a two statement here. First of all, this matter is in the court. As an official spokesperson of TVK, I am not able to comment, number one. Number two, you call this debate saying the topic is the impact of TVK in the political landscape of Tamil Nadu. And I don't think I can take part. I cannot talk about this movie.
Okay, you don't have to talk about the movie, but do you not have a
question about the movie?
Yeah, no. But do you not have a view on the last film, which is a declared last film of your leader, and he has said he is going to... One second, let me finish my question, please. And he has said that this is going to be his last film. He's going to retire from films. He is going to focus his entire rest of his life as a politician, as a political operative, as a people's sort of representative. And in this last one, the BJP, you are alleging, and your party is alleging, has thrown a spanner in the works. And they are saying, why are you making such a big deal? Why are you showing things in bad light? Why are you not following due process? Why do you say that this is political? Now, you can't on the one hand say They are trying to stop your leader's political rise, yet at the same time say that, oh, this is a film, we don't want to comment on a film.
Let me tell you, again, this is not ethical at all. And we believe in judiciary, and I personally believe in judiciary. You didn't call me to debate on this topic.
Okay, so tell me about the politics part. The politics part. That you're free to talk about.
But you didn't tell me that, right?
No, I asked you. The second question was on politics. I didn't ask you about the film.
I told from the beginning at least more than 10 times.
I'm asking you about the politics, Mr. Gerald.
Is it ethical from your side?
No. I'm asking you about Mr. Gerald. I'm asking you about the politics. You are saying that this is to block the political rise of your leader. The BJP and the DMK are saying he's not a big leader, that they need to block his political rise.
One simple question. Is it ethical to inform your guest with misleading information and call to
No, I did not have that conversation with you, so I don't know what conversations you are privy to. No, but I do want to ask you, why do you believe that this is to block your leader's political rise?
I'm not here to talk about the movie. Okay, today the entire Tamil Nadu politics, the entire Tamil Nadu political ground, we are the center of gravity. So our leader is the most charismatic leader on the ground today, and he's not only a charismatic leader, he's a cultural phenomenon. Okay, people are with us. We are happy with that.
No, but how do you know? How do you know any of this? Your leader has not fought an election. You have not got a single MLA. This is one second. There are two political parties that have ruled the state for the last 50 years. Okay. You're a political novice, and you come here sitting on national.
Viewers, for weeks, some have breathlessly amplified the idea that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had personally called Donald Trump to seek relief, that India had blinked